High above the grand estate, in a small dusty attic, a young girl named Cinderella sat by a tiny window. Her golden hair shimmered in the pale moonlight as she stitched a torn dress, her only company the gentle whispers of the night. Once, this house was filled with love and laughter, but now, under the rule of her wicked stepmother, Cinderella spent her days scrubbing floors and her nights dreaming of a better life. Morning broke, and the house echoed with the sharp voice of Lady Tremaine, Cinderella's stepmother. "Cinderella, have you not finished your chores?" she snapped, her eyes cold as steel. Her stepsisters, Drizella and Anastasia, sneered from the staircase, draped in silk and jewels, while Cinderella, dressed in rags, bowed her head and whispered, "Yes, stepmother." One evening, a royal messenger arrived with a golden scroll. "A grand ball in honor of the prince. Every young maiden is invited," he announced. Cinderella's heart leapt with joy, but her stepmother's lips curled into a cruel smile. "You may go," she said sweetly, "if you finish all your chores and find something suitable to wear." Cinderella worked tirelessly, her heart full of hope. With the help of the mice and birds, she transformed her mother's old gown into something beautiful. But as she descended the stairs, her stepsisters gasped, then ripped the dress apart. "You cannot go looking like that," they sneered, leaving Cinderella in tears. Just as Cinderella's tears fell, a soft, glowing light filled the garden. "Do not weep, child," a gentle voice whispered. Before her stood a kindly old woman, her wand twinkling with golden magic. "I am your fairy godmother," she smiled, "and tonight you shall go to the ball." With a flick of her wand, the fairy godmother transformed a pumpkin into a magnificent carriage, mice into horses, and Cinderella's rags into the most dazzling gown she had ever seen. "But remember, my dear," the fairy godmother warned, "when the clock strikes midnight, the magic will fade." As Cinderella stepped into the grand ballroom, all eyes turned to her. Even the prince stood in awe. "May I have this dance?" he asked, his voice warm and kind. Cinderella smiled, her heart soaring as they twirled beneath the golden chandelier. Just as Cinderella felt happiness bloom, the clock struck midnight. She gasped, turned, and fled down the grand staircase, her gown fading back into rags. But in her haste, she left behind a single glass slipper. The next day, the prince searched the kingdom, determined to find the girl who fit the glass slipper. At last, he arrived at Cinderella's home. Her stepsisters tried and failed to squeeze into the slipper, but when Cinderella gently slid her foot inside, it fit perfectly. And so, Cinderella and the prince were reunited. With love, kindness, and a little bit of magic, Cinderella's dreams finally came true. And as they rode off into the sunset, she knew this was only the beginning of her happily ever after.